Welcome to In the Craft Room with Debbie. I'm super excited to be bringing you this video. It's all about mini books, but mini books with a twist because there's so many out there and they are fabulous. However, sometimes I get confused myself. And so this mini book, there is one really main bit, which is the spine that you need to measure. And the rest of it, I've got a secret top tip of using just A5 card blanks and then using that as a measurement base throughout my mini book. So what I mean by that, look what you're going to create. You are going to create this fabulous mini book. As you can see, there's all the pages in there. I show you throughout the video how to create this mini book in really, maybe half an hour to an hour. The time is choosing the papers. And talking of papers, there is a free download to create this mini book. Now the download is just for the backing papers. These extra elements, this is what I had in my crafty stash. These are some die cuts that I had from my Roses and Bloom collection, or some elements from my digital download. They're also available. You can check out in the craft room section on debbimoredesigns.com, and all the information will be there. But the main thing is the video. The video is a premiere, which means that you can actually put a comment in there, and it could be a query about how to create this gorgeous mini book, and I'll be able to answer. Now this is live, okay? However, if it's what I was going to say, if it's after the first, get the right date, 31st of August, then the queries may take a few days to answer. Anyway, I would really want you to have a go at doing my mini book with the flexible spine. Are you ready? Let's get started. As I said, this mini book is one of my go-to mini books because there's only one lot of measurements, and that is for the spine. And what I mean by that is I'm using pre-scored A5 card blanks. You can obviously use, if you wanted to, a batch. Now I would recommend you get a batch, because when I show you how easy it is to create this mini book, you will be adding your own twist to it. So to get started, what I've done is simply cut them in half. And you can get the right measurements if you want to, or you can just use that score line and simply cut it in half. So to start off with, you actually need, I think it's 5 of these. Yes, 5 of these. So just get them ready. Now you can just use ordinary A4 piece of card and cut it in half. The reason why I'm doing this is I know that these are the exact measurements. And so I've not measured, all I've done is cut in half. The only time you have to measure is to create the spine that I showed you. And to do that, you do need to use I'm going to use my paper trimmer channel. You can use a scoreboard and a ruler and a pencil. I've got some off-cut pieces of card here. And what I'm simply doing, everybody, is I am creating the spine into 3 sections. To start off with, and I'll do it as a pencil mark so you can see it, I want to have 1.5 centimeters. Okay, so I've just put a little mark there, and then I want to have 1 centimeter. So I'm just putting a mark there just so you can see it, because I would automatically do it. And then what I will do, let me show you what, there you go, you can just about see those marks there. So that is where I'm going to score. And the reason behind that is you are creating basically a spine that moves. And so line it up. So once you've done 1.5 centimeter increment, and then you are literally going to score down that line, and then I'm going to move it to 1 centimeter, and then you're going to score at that point. And then you are then going to literally go to 1.5 again. So that's 1.5. Oh, sorry, 1 centimeter. Make sure I get it right, because they all have to join up. So just to repeat that, so there's no confusion, you're going to start off with, you can see, 1.5 centimeters. That does look like a big 1.5 centimeters actually. It is. That's 2.5. Let's just start again, everybody. Make sure you start off with 1.5 centimeters. There we go. Let me just take that off. So yes, so let's just repeat that. So 1.5 centimeters, and then a centimeter, and then 1 centimeter. And when you see what I'm going to do, you will understand. So this is the first section. I would recommend you get a bone folder or a creaser, because you will be reinforcing these lines all the time. So that will create your first channel. So as you can see, you're creating that, and I want that to be higher than that one. And then the next one is simply 1 centimeter. So I'm just going to line that up like so. I'm going to then score first and then cut. So you need to put 2 score lines, that's 1 centimeter. There we go, and then move that along another 1 centimeter. So you can see why your scoreboard or your paper trimmer is very handy. And then next one is simply another 1 centimeter, and then you trim it down like so. Make sure it's nice and straight. And what you're going to do, everybody, I'll just do this bit, is simply reinforce those lines. Use your bone folder and simply burnish it like so, and then do the same on the other side. So going down and up is what we call burnishing, and this is going to create this type of spine. This is going to stick to here, that's why it needs to be a bit more. This is going to be the outside, which is why I want it a bit thicker, and then I want one more to do the same. So I hope you're still with me. Now don't forget, this is in the craft room with Debbie, which means that you can put some messages while you are watching me. Although it's like a live show, it's only via messaging. So I am here, so drop me a line if you have any queries about what I'm doing. I'm simply going down 1 centimeter and then moving that along again to 1 centimeter. Now because this is the end, everybody, as in this is my third one because you need 3 of these, I'm moving that to 1.5, and that will make the last bit a little bit higher. Now there isn't any rules with regard to how wide you do it. It depends what you're going to put in your mini book, and when you see how this spine is created, you'll understand what I'm trying to do. Now in this video I am doing stage 1. We will be bringing out stage 2 of how to decorate it fully. I'm going to show part of the decoration today, and then next week we'll be doing part 2. But simply what I've done now is I've got some tacky glue. You can use any type of medium. What you need to make sure you do is that it sets. Yes, you can use red liner tape, or you can simply just use glue like so. So you're going to stick those two together, and then you're actually going to get the next third one. So you're going to end up with 3 of these tabs. Now this is 1 centimeter. You may want to do the increments wider. For example, you may want to do the outside 2 centimeters and the width in between. So this creates this. Can you see that, everybody? So that is my spine. And then look how easy it is to create your mini book. Are you watching? Don't blink because you'll miss it. So you're going to start out with the outside. Now remember, these were offcuts from this A5 card blank, which means I've not done any measuring. So I know if I put that there, that is the exact measurement. And this is what I like doing the mini book this way. So as long as you do the spine, that spine is the only thing that you do need to measure, unless you're very good at doing it by eye. And then you actually put your pieces of card up to the score line like so. So there's 1 done. Now make sure you let it set, let it grab it. While that's grabbing, I'm going to do the next one, which is on the outside again. So simply put your glue on like so, and then get the other one, line it up. So you can see simply how it's been put together. Line it up. I think I might need a bit more glue on that one. Oh no, that's sticking. So now I've got my outside done, as you can see, and then while that is drying, I'm then going to do the other 2 parts. So simply you stick in both places, and this is how the mini book is started. So far, the only measurements that I've actually done is the spine. Now the spine is not a solid spine yet, but it will be. The reason why you do it this way is so it's flexible. So this is what I call a flexible spine. I'm just going to put a little bit more glue in that section. Now it's very important that the spine sections, the individual ones, are stuck together. And then let me just, I need 3 hands here. There we go, line that up, put that back. There isn't a wrong way or right way. You can start from the front or the back, whatever you find easier, as long as you simply layer up each area. Right, everybody. So hopefully so far you're with me with this craft along. We have got, can you see the starting of your mini book? I've got 1, I've just stuck that one in, 2, and that needs to just go up to the edge there. So let's make sure it's nice and flat. There we go. And it's the glue that you need to make sure, honestly, this glue has not stuck. Typical live, everybody. So just talk amongst yourselves. So I'm just going to line it up again. The outer ones are stuck, but I don't think I've put enough on the others. There we go. Have that on there. There we go. And then get this next one, bit more glue on here, and then that's going to go on that side. There we go, everybody. So while that is drying, I don't want to touch it. You should have your 4 sections, as you can see there. Let's put that to one side to dry. And then I have got one here that's dried already. And as you can see, I've got my spine. So there is the flexible spine. What you then need to do is get an off-cutter card. So you know that you've got these cut out already, and I did say get a batch of them. And then you can create your solid spine. Now at the moment, I'm doing 4 centimeters as my go-to amount. And there isn't, it's just, I've just picked 4 centimeters. There isn't a wrong or right amount, it's your amount. And what I mean by that, everybody, is I'm going to 4 centimeters and then scoring. And I'm just using the channel on my score or paper trimmer. So that's given me this part, like so. And then, can you see that's going to sit on there? And then I'm going to simply, because I want it nice and flush, to use a pencil mark. And this is what I'm saying. What you end up doing now is you don't measure. You simply just mark in little pencil marks. Hopefully you can see that. And that's telling you where to score. So that's going to go like so. You're then going to put another score line down there. And then I'm going to finish off by trimming it down to 4 centimeters. And I'll come to that in a second. Get the right way, there we go, 4 centimeters. So this is my solid spine that when I'm ready, I'll go to it. So don't forget to do the burnish, and every time you score, everybody, you need to do this technique, especially if you're using quite thick card, because then it'll fit nice. So as you can see here, this is going to go in here, and this is going to be my solid spine. You can see there. Right, so I've done the flexible spine, you can see it moving there, and I've got my solid spine. So I'm going to leave that for now, just there, and we're going to start with the inside. Now, do you remember me telling you 4 centimeters is my go-to? Now, what that means is I'm going to show you how to create a variety of pockets. And there isn't a right or wrong way. There's so many techniques out there. This is my go-to one that I find much easier. I always use these A5 card blanks because I know the measurements are right and I don't have to worry about measuring. So I'm trimming it down in half again. And then what I've done, everybody, I know this is going to fit in here, like so. So what I want to do is my 4 centimeter again. So I'm just going to go to 4 centimeters and score. I mean, you might pick 3, you might pick 2. The reason why I've done that is I can see my tabs, and the mini book is made up of all these tabs in different sizes. And what I mean by that is this will create a book, and this is what gets stuck to it. And you know, here's a smaller piece. Can you see I've got my tab? It's the tab that's going to stick to your actual mini book. Now what I'm going to do now is I've already started up, so there's a tab there. So you can see I've trimmed it down. Now this is where you need to decide what you want to do. So my top tips for these mini books is, can you see that I've trimmed down just to leave a little white edge? The reason being is when it comes to decorating, I want to have a little white edge round it. Can you see? Because we will blend inks round it later on. But you need to put your tabs in and then papers as you go. So I'm putting this in first, and then I want to have this one as well. So this is going to be like a little book. Can you see how easy that is? But before I get any further forward, I am going to use some paper techniques as well. Sorry, some paper. Now the paper that you have on your downloader, you have an assortment of papers. Now check out the information at the beginning of the video because you do get a free download. However, I've also used elements from my other Roses and Bloom collection. So I've gone with pinks and blue. See, this collection isn't just a pink collection. I want to create this lovely inspirational mini book, but I want to use papers from the Roses and Bloom. And with the papers, as you can see, what I've done is I've trimmed them down to be almost the size of your A5 card blank. Can you see that, everybody? So what I'm going to do now is stick that in there. So then I'm going to have, so that goes to the edge, and then I'm going to have that one halfway through. So you can make sure that you stick some behind your tabs, or I should say some papers in front of your tabs, and some on top. So hopefully you're still with me and I've not confused you too much. It's the tabs that are very important, everybody. So I'm just going to use some tape, a tape pen here. So I'm just putting some tape on. You can use adhesive, double-sided tape. You can use any product you find much easier with. So I'm just going to then line this up like so, right up to the edge. I want a white edge because I will use some distress inks in part 2. That's going to go on there, and then I want my second little door. So I actually want that open, and then you open that one. So then simply put my tape along there and line it up. Make sure you line it up to where you want it. I just want it a little bit in. So then, everybody, I have done this side. And then what I will do is I will then put another piece of paper in there. So you can then, if you wanted to, bring in other papers and get rid of that white line. It's the tabs that create this. Now the next bit, okay, I showed you how I created the tab earlier. So I've already put one in already there. And then what I've done, okay, so you see the tab? And then there's another tab. And then I've added another tab. That's all it is, everybody. It is tabs on top of tabs. So just to show you how I did that, I've stuck it in already. Let's move that to one side. So what I did is got a tab here, and then I get another one, okay? And then I want to have a tab there. Now I'm using 4 centimeters, but it depends on the size of it. It doesn't really matter. It's just these simple tabs that enable you to create this fabulous mini book. So that's going to be on the side, and then I want this one to go down here. Now this is where you need to not measure but mark. So this is what I said, this mini book, other than the first things I'm measuring, all you're doing is lining up. So I want to trim this down to here, just to the end, and then I want to trim this to here. So all I'm doing is trimming it down to the points that I've marked. How's everybody going? Are you still with me? Okay, the top tip is to always remember that you are creating a mini book made up of little sections really, I've not measured anything, and this is why this is a really easy way to do it. So as you can see, I can now, that now fits in there. And with your tab, you put tape on and then simply align it up to the edge and make sure it fits in there like that. Reinforce. So you can see now that's going to stick it out in one, and that's how easy that's to do. So going back to this now, you can see I've stuck that in there and created my own tab, like so. And then I've put one on top. And you can do different sizes. The next side, okay, what I want to do is I want to actually create a treble tab. And how that is done, everybody, okay, you cut down 3 tabs. So as you can see here, it's almost like 3 squares. Oops, something's happened to the screen, everybody. It's too much white. There we go. It's almost like having, let me move that out of the way, 2 square cards, one on top of each other. But you can see that I've actually stuck it with tabs. So I've got a tab there, I've got a tab there, so I have this. But how about creating something different? So what I've got here is I want to get using my offcuts again. I've lost them. Oh, there they are. What I'm going to do is I would like to create a triangle pocket. So when it opens, you're going to have a triangle there. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to trim that down so I know by using the card blank it's exactly the same size. So there we go. So I'm trimming that down, so that's exactly. Now the next thing you need to decide is how do you want it? So that is that width, or do you want it this width? I'm actually wanting it this width, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a tab on it. So then simply get your paper trimmer, score at that point. I'm doing 4 centimeters again. So that's going to go. So at the moment, that's going to go like so, and then I want this on here. And then what I'm going to do, 1 second, get the right way up. So that's going to go like that. And then what I want is I want this open there. So what you need to do, you can see that that's going to come over there. I don't want that, so you just get your pencil and make little marks. So as you go through your book, each section will have an assortment of tabs and leaves that you've done creating this technique. There we go. So I'm just putting it down. Now remember, if you have any questions, let me know. So the next thing I want to do is I want to do like a corner. So now that I know that I'm going to have a corner there, I simply just get my paper trimmer, line it up like so. So now I've made a corner tag. So what you need to do, can you see this bit that's left? You do need to trim that off. There we go. So hold that down. Remember to burnish it so it's nice and flat, like so. Trim it down. Now the other thing, there's a top tip, so you can see that's going to stick on there, is you need to make sure that you haven't cut it exactly. Can you see how this won't close properly? So you just need to make a little bit, take a little bit off the bottom. So just take that off the bottom. So I hope you're all still with me, everybody. As you can see, all I'm doing is creating little pockets. So this is going to go on here. So I want this lifted up, and then I put some tape on here, like so. This is going to fit on here. There we go. Once you get the idea that this is made up of a series of tabs, and then all I need to do is put the papers on. So you can now see that opens that way. And then what I want to do is, you can even keep offcuts and you can put another pocket everywhere else. So this is going to go on here, like so. So that's going to go up and then that's going to go on there. But before I put that on, I will put some paper on. But I just want to do all the different sections first. The next section, this one here, is going to be this fabulous, yet again, all I've done is scored 4 centimeters. I've cut down one of the A5 card blanks in half, so I don't do any measuring except for my tabs, but you could do those by eye if you wanted to. And then simply put some tape on, and I'm putting it together. Now there's plenty of mini books out there for you to all have a go at. This one to me is one of the easiest ones to do. It might sound complicated to get started with, but the reason why I find it so easy is because you can create an assortment of tabs in different ones. So this one on here, what I want to do is I want to create, I've lost it, I had a piece of paper. There we go. I want to create offcuts, and what I mean by that is I want to create pockets upon pockets. So what I've got here is I want to create a little message that's going to go on that one. See how small it is? And then I want to actually then have a little one coming down. You can have different layers, but you always have to have the tabs, everybody, because that is what sticks it together. And then we will actually put papers in between. So I'm just going to go, this one's going to be a bit smaller. This is 3 centimeters, but you still have your tab. And then what I've got here is that's going to stick on there, and then that's going to stick on there. So you lift that up, and then you can lift that one up. And then these ones, because I don't have to wait for the paper, I can actually put directly on. Let's make sure that goes on here. Make sure I reinforce that. Line it up. You can leave a little white edge, but line it up with the edge. And then this is going to go the same way, reinforce that line. And I want that just there, like so. And I'm creating a tab, and it's the tab that enables you to fix everything together. So that's going to go like so. Line it up to the bottom of that. So I can lift that up and lift that up. So this bit will all be hidden with paper when I come to it. Now this one, I've already started it. And simply, it's a long tab. Can you see that, everybody? A tab with a tab. And all I did for that, and let me show you, is cut my card in half like so. And then what I did, this time I just scored 3 centimeters. So it's between 3 and 4 centimeters that you're going to score each time to create your tabs. So then this is what goes on there. Can you see that? And then to attach, so that's going to attach to the card, and then you need another tab to attach to there. You know the width's right because you've trimmed down your square card, sorry, your rectangle card, and then the next thing you're doing is simply putting all the tabs together. Make sure you burnish it. So we have a tab and a tab. So then this goes on the card, and then this is flaps down. So you end up with one big section. So we can put some tape on that, line it up. So that's going to go on the card, and then this is the inside flap. So as you can see, all I'm doing, everybody, is laying flaps and pieces of card. So there you go. So that's how that was created. And then I've stuck it onto there to create that type of effect. So I think I have done everything. So just to regroup, you can see I showed you how to do the flexible spine there. I have got one of these that's going to go on there when I'm ready to do the front. For the inside, we have done that one. So you now know how that's done. Then this one here is ready for papers. And literally everybody, what you're going to do is decide on your papers. So let's have a look. So I may have this one. So I want it to go on here. And I'm literally trimming them down to fit, to leave that mill. And I've left that little white border, and that's going to go on there. So then simply get that and get your pencil. So leave a little edge. It gives it a good balance, and then all I'm doing is getting my pencil and simply trimming it down. Hopefully everybody's still with me. You're getting the idea behind it. You can see how easy it is to put together. All you need to do is get your hinges, or your tabs I should say, and then that will enable you to create all these different offcuts of mini books. Slide this on here like so, and then press that down, so that's one ready. Then I can put another paper on there, and then I'm going to bring in some pink. Let me see what I've got. So I've got, these are from our inserts that we have. You can trim them down. I've got all these offcuts. Let's go with this one. And that's the top tip, everybody. So the papers that you've got in the download are from my Roses and Bloom collection that was inspired by my mother. And I thought it would be a lovely collection to create this lovely inspiration book. I've shown you how to create the tabs. And now what you can see me doing is I'm just laying up the papers on top of each other, leaving a white edge, and you can see how it's coming together. This is why you need to put your tabs down first, so you can see how that tab is underneath that paper. Then this is going to go in here, and you can use any adhesive. Right, so it's been some time. This is why it's going to be done in two parts, everybody. I just want to show you so you can see how that's done. Okay, you can see that now I've put, so this area needs decorating, and you can now see this one is going to go on there. Oops, make sure you do it the right way. That's going to create a pocket that way, but I want to actually put some paper on. I've shown you how to do that one there. With all the different tabs, look at that one, that's quite a good one. You get the idea behind it. And then the next thing to do is layer it and put pockets together. Now I want to just show you how the beginning, or I should say the front of the book is done. And then what we're going to do in stage 2, we're going to essentially finish the whole book with different elements. So what I've got here is I did have under all this, if I just move this on here, I've got some papers and also some roses that I've already die cut out. Now this is from the Roses and Bloom. You can use anything from your crafty stash. Your free download is all the different backing papers to use to decorate it. If you want any of the accessories, check out the website or check out your crafty stash. I've just die cut some flowers from our Roses and Bloom match it, but you can use any flowers you want. And I love this. This is going to be an inspirational book. And in stage 2, I'm going to show you how to put all the things together through your pages, but also I'm going to show you how to create a gorgeous box to put this in. Now this topper says everything is possible for him that believes. So it's a Bible verse that I'm going to put on there. Now I've got my paper already. Now don't forget the papers that I've just shown you, just the backing papers, are available on your digital download. All the extra elements are not. You just use elements from your crafty stash. And then what I've got here is I've got my offcut. Now remember 2 things on here. Firstly, you have got this that's going to sit on here. So remember that. So you don't have to worry about going too to the edge. And then what I'm going to do here, it's going to stick that down. And I have this fabulous, I love this lovely almost like butterflies, collage effect on here. So I'm going with the blues and pinks. So before I put that on, I'm just going to stick this together. Now remember, it's all tabs. Ask me any questions, just type it in your comments and then I will reply. So this show is going live and is available as it's a premiere. So you can actually put any comments on and I will answer them. So this paper is part of your digital download that you can get to do this project. And any of the extra, for example, your toppers, this is from the USB key, or you can get the whole digital collection. And what I'm doing is simply putting everything together like so. Oh, and I've got this fun little die cut there, so you can see how everything's going together. And I love this. It says, friends are flowers that never fade. That's going to go on there. Remember, you've got your spine to go on there. So I want to put this on here first. So with your spine, what you need to do, I'm not going to glue the back bit because I want to put some paper on, but just to finish off the front of the book, everybody, all you need to do is put adhesive up to the edge of the spine. You can use glue, you can use tape, whatever you prefer. And then what I'm doing, and then this bit is the middle of the spine, and you want it to be flexible. So I'm not actually putting any glue in that bit, but I will put glue here and here, and that will keep the spine rigid but flexible. Line it up like so, and then make sure it's nice and firm. There we go. So you can see now how that's looking. There you go. And then what I'm doing now is sticking everything together. I'm going to have some foam pads, I think, on this one. And then we'll put it together. There we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and picked up some tips. Now remember, mini books, they can be complex, but what I've shown you on here is a very straightforward thing. The main measuring is done on the flexible spine. And then the rest of the measuring is really the tabs that you're creating. So you don't really, essentially, you don't have to have exactly the same measurement all the time. You just need to create a tab. And what I love about this mini book is if you use your A5 card blanks, you don't have to keep cutting down your card stock to the same width because you always have it that way. So I found this a really good way to, oops, I've just realized I forgot to put that in. Let's put some adhesive on. It's going to go in that. Oh, that isn't the one I wanted. What am I like, everybody? Let's put some more tape on. There we go. It's going to go in that. Just to give a little bit of a feature. Then I want to have a tear effect on here. This is just, remember, tear in, out, like so. That's just going to sit on that. Use some tape or use your glue, whatever you find easier. To have this just there. I mean, there's so much you can add to it. I've just realised my butterfly is upside down, but I will change it. I might put that there later. We'll see. And then we'll finish off by having that there. And I've got some flowers going on here. So they can just go onto that. We've got them in different sizes. So I'm using some foam pads. And simply just use a pricking tool and start putting them together. A mini book can take ages or it can be quick, whatever way you're doing it. Just have fun doing and creating this fabulous technique. I love the fact that you can just add dimension. I'm just adding some adhesive with the glue on here, then putting more layers on. There we go. And then I've got some nice leaves actually. Have a leaf on there. I could be here all day. Any questions, put them in the comments and I'll write back on it. Okay, you get the idea behind the technique, hopefully. Stage 2 will be when we are going through the process of how to put everything together. And then what we'll be doing is we'll be showing you how to create the box. So look out over the coming week or two for stage 2 of this. I hope you've enjoyed In the Craftroom with Debbie and picked up some top tips to create mini books. This is my go-to mini book because other than really the spine, the rest of it is to create tabs. And it's such a simple technique that once you've had a go, you will be doing them again and again. So have a go and happy crafting.